Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today this video is actually going to be covering how to change your stem, and then also in that process I'm actually going to be putting on a new stem and also putting on new handlebars that are a little bit wider. So we're just going to give you kind of a quick tutorial and just kind of through the process of me just switching out the stem and handlebars and new grips and all that nonsense to kind of go along with it. But hopefully you guys can learn something and just kind of show you how easy this actually is, but also some things to kind of be aware of when you do this yourself. So since I'm actually going to be putting on new handlebars, I'm going to need to be taking off my shifters and brake levers and to put on the new handlebars. So I'm actually going to loosen those up now prior to taking them off, just because it'll be a little bit easier to handle and maneuver those as well. So. Alright, so now that those are all loosened up, we're actually going to start at the face plate here on the bars. If you're just switching out the handlebars and keeping the stem, obviously make sure you keep these screws in a safe place so that way you don't misplace them. But also when you put these back on, you'll want to make sure that they're nice and clean. So now that we're working on the last screw, make sure you kind of hold the plate. So that way your handlebars don't fall and damage anything on your bike. You're just going to drop your handlebars down. And if you have a bike stand and you're going to be holding this up, I actually just have this on my floor stand here. If you're going to be doing this with it up, you'll want to make sure that as you are loosening this up and take your stem off, to watch your forks, because they can't just drop through. So just keep that in mind and just kind of be aware of that. So my bike here has just obviously a top cap screw, but it's got the two bolts here. One is on opposite sides. So it's the same. I think it's like a 6mm bolt on all of them. Just be doing this. Also make sure you kind of keep track of your spacers as you remove all of this too. So this is the stem that I had on here, and I'll be replacing this with the RACEFACE Aeffect. This is I think this is close to 70 to 80 mil stem. I'm actually going to be putting on a 35 RACEFACE Aeffect here. So should shorten it up pretty good. Going to be kind of excited to do that, and also got the wider RACEFACE Turbine handlebars. The bars I had on there came at like 640, and these are actually going to be 760, I believe. Yep, 760. And they have notches where you can actually cut them shorter if you want to go a little bit shorter. I'm actually going to take a couple rides with them at the length that they are, and if I just need to kind of go down a little bit, I might bring them down to about 740, but we're going to kind of play around with the 760 first. If you do that, make sure you take the proper precautions in cutting this. This is an aluminum stem, so it's a little bit easier to cut than the carbon fiber. But that's a whole other video in itself, and if I decide to cut these down, I'll make a quick video on that as well for you. I'm just going to do a very light turn on this, just to hold it in just a little bit while I get the handlebars on. And I'm just going to tighten the top one up just a little bit. Ideally, you want a torque wrench for these, or a multi-tool that has that can measure how much torque you put on here, just so you don't crank it down too much. Usually on the stem itself, it'll tell you how much you should put on here. You don't want to crank it down too tight. Using just a standard tool will work, but just know that you don't need to be putting all your force into this. Just enough to keep it from moving around, keep it from spinning. Now that we got the new bars, we're going to be slipping this in here. Now, also, something to keep in mind, if you're getting new bars on the stem that you currently have, or if you're buying new stem and new bars, you want to make sure that the clamp diameter is the same as your handlebars, or the handlebar is the same as your clamp diameter. These bars that I was able to get from a friend from the channel is 35 mil diameter, and the handlebars I had was 31.8. So you just kind of want to make sure that if you're looking for new handlebars or just a new stem, that you get the right size that you need. And when you tighten these down, make sure you're tightening these down evenly, that you're not just cranking down on the top and then doing what's left on the bottom, or vice versa. So as you're doing this, you want to make sure that you get the handlebars lined up so they're straight and centered, and then also you just want to make sure it's even from side to side. And also these bars, I don't know if all of them have it, but this one has a center line here, which kind of helps you line it up in the middle. I'm actually taking off my brakes and shifters. Getting this lined up in the center like I mentioned earlier. And now is actually a good time to kind of get on the seat, kind of feel out where those bars should be. There's a gap here at the bottom and not at the top, so you just kind of want to be aware that these are done evenly. And I'm not putting a lot of pressure on here, I'm just doing small quarter turns now. The next step is going to be to get this top cap back installed, and then from here you should still be able to line up your what I like to do is just line up the cap and the kind of the two bolts in line with my front tire. Kind of use my two bolts at the top of the front of the faceplate as kind of like my lines of the front tire. Now make sure you do not tighten down this top cap too tight, because then you'll actually crush the bearings inside. So you just want to be aware of that, and that's why it's nice to have a torque tool with you, so that way you can just be aware of that. At this point you can also lift up the front of the bike a little bit, grab the forks, kind of move on the headset a little bit here, and just see if you feel any play or movement there. If there is, you just tighten that top cap a little bit more, and also that's done with the side bolts loosened. But that all feels good. So now we're just going to get these side bolts tightened up. So I'm liking how everything's looking here. This is the new handlebars, RACEFACE Turbine, the front stem that's shortened up to 35 mil. And yeah, just excited for the new bars. We still got to tighten up the brakes and the shifters after I get the grips on. Gonna skip that for you here. Alright guys, we got the ESI chunky grips on. They're actually really easy to put on. I know some people have had some issues with these. Honestly, I just used some soapy water and squirted it on the bar, squirted it inside the grips, and honestly just kind of rotated them on. I noticed that if I just stay twisting in one motion as I was pushing on, they went on super easy. If I was trying to like go back and forth, that's when I was getting stuck. Slip them on, no more than 5 minutes on each grip. Got everything else set up. You know, if you guys like this video, do give it a thumbs up, and you know, we'll have other instructional videos as they come up, and other reviews, how-tos, and I'll let you guys know what I think of the bars and everything, and the wider grip. And I know, just kind of riding around the driveway here after doing this, it is going to take some getting used to, because I'm used to 640 with bars, which are extremely small. Most people don't even ride less than 700 nowadays, and so definitely going to get in some used to, but I'm excited for it. If you guys did like the video, do give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. And also, if you guys noticed I might have done something differently, or something I should have done differently, any other advice or tips for someone else out here or who might be watching this video, do add those into the comments, because I'm not a professional biker or paid bike mechanic, so if you do have any other advice on someone else that might be able to make this job easier for them, and do add those into the comments, because this is just a place for a community to get together and learn from and build on the skill that we have and enjoy the sport of mountain biking. And definitely not here to guide anyone wrong. So if I might have said something I shouldn't have, or anything like that, do add those to the comments, just so we can keep everyone safe and on the trails and enjoying the art of mountain biking. So as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the trail.